On my last video, I forgot to tell you guys the keyboard. This is actually the Razer Black Widow Ultimate, and it's a mechanical keyboard. And yeah, it is heavy. I mean, you want a keyboard that weighs a lot, that's going to stay on your mouse pad or whatever. It weighs a lot. This is a Razer Death Adder 3500 DPI mouse. But you see, it's kind of, because I've been using it so long, you can see where it's frayed. This is supposed to be braided all the way down. You can see, yeah, it's supposed to be braided all the way down, and it pretty much frayed from just using it off a desk. So you want to keep that in mind. If you're getting any mouse that have the braiding on them like this, they're just going to fray when you're using them on the corner and moving them. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, this is the Touch of Color. Trying to get the Samsung monitor, Touch of Color. And it's got a little button right there where it's all touch button, and then the side buttons, the buttons on the side where you got them. It's got a HD TV tuner, but it's a monitor. That's kind of why I bought it, because I haven't seen anything like that where it had the HD TV tuner built in at the time, so you can play, you know, HD movies or whatever you want. That's the model number right there. It's T240 HD Sync Master, and these are discontinued, but it was a Touch of Color Red series. And it's starting to get hard to find 1920 by 1200 resolution monitors now. They used to be on the market big time, but everybody's just doing regular 1080p monitors, and I wish I'd do a higher resolution at a cheaper price. I think I paid $330 USD, United States dollar, for this monitor back in the day. I think it was like 2009, 2010. So a lot of my parts, like I said, I'm not using Ivy Bridge. I bought the Intel Core i7 2600K right before, because this is a Z68 motherboard. This came out right before Z77, and I knew Z77 was coming out, but I decided to get this instead because I wanted to overclock like crazy. And I'm reading these horror stories where these people have Core i7 3070-70Ks, and they're overclocking real high, and they're overheating because they don't stay as cool as the 2600K Sandy Bridge CPUs. The Ivy Bridge CPUs run a lot hotter when you push the voltage up and overclock like crazy. So yeah, that's the back plate again. Yeah, definitely, if you got a regular stock 680 GTX, or like this card right here, the EVGA 670 GTX for the win, this card uses the back plate of the 680. Now that EVGA just made a 4GB 670 GTX for the win. It's a 4GB version, and it actually has the same back plate to cool the memory on the back of the GPU, the VRAM. So I mean, that's really cool that they started adding these. I think this was $20 from frozencpu. You can see the fan. See where, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, it kicked on. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, pretty much the fan. You see it's not that loud. That's not the GPU, that is the power supply fan. Yep, so yeah, same old 16GB Corsair Vengeance, 1600 megahertz RAM, and for gaming, I mean, you really, people say you need higher than 16 megahertz RAM, but don't believe them. You don't really need higher than 16 megahertz RAM, even when you're overclocking like crazy. Because with these CPUs, the 2600K and the 3770K, you know, the Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge, only try to overclock with the CPU multiplier, and that leaves the memory speed the same. And then you overclock with the unlock multiplier on those CPUs, because it's real easy that way, and you don't change the bus speed. You leave it on 100 megahertz, and it's usually the best thing. So yeah, you can see it's all quiet again. Yeah, sorry, I just want to put some kind of lighting so you guys can see the whole system. I really apologize for shaky camera. I'm not sure how many videos I can make with this camera, because I'm just borrowing this camera from my sister for 2 days. I'll put a link in the description on what kind of camera it is I'm recording. It's just a, I think it's a Fujifilm digital camera. So I wish I had a nice 720p camera to record with better quality, so I really apologize for that. I don't know if you guys can see it. That was the custom Lian Li case feet. And they kind of look like the stock Cooler Master case feet, but I mean, they're not. They're the Lian Li case feet. You can just look up Lian Li case feet and find them. So yeah, this right here, this is the fan cable. I kind of just ran it through here, and I just tuck it in here, so that's why I got the cable like that. Now I'm wondering if you guys want to hear how loud it is with the fans all the way up. So I'll just... So that's with all this, with this fan on full 100%. That's with these 420 millimeter, 1800 RPM Feser trib work fans on full 100%. And these are way quieter than my Scythe Ultra Kaze Master fans that I had before. They were 3000 RPM. I think I got a video on them. These are way quieter than those fans. And they push way more air than the 3000 RPM fans. So yeah, you can see how it's super bright. So I'm just gonna kind of turn this down. Now, you're wondering, the reason why I put this reservoir on top of the case is because I was thinking about it. You got the 120 millimeter fans exhausting, and this is a passive reservoir. I mean, it's like a radiator. So the fans are blowing over this metal anodized aluminum fins, and it's cooling the water down. So it's kind of like another radiator on top of this. And I really don't need it for this system since I'm using such a huge 480 millimeter radiator, but I mean, it really does, it helps a little bit drop those temps. You can see that's the cap, that's just LED that you screw in. And these are fans. These are kind of hard fans to find now because they have these new 3000 RPM Feser Triwork fans, but they're 3000 RPM and they're junk. I keep reading bad reviews on them, like clicking noises and buzzing noises. These are the ones that are made by Feser, and these are the best ones you can buy right here. The 1800 RPMs are discontinued. They got all fan grills on them. Yeah, tons and tons of fans. Yeah, so you can see it's red right there. That's the back of the power supply. Those are expansion covers, and I just got a ridiculous amount of cables. That's the coolant's radiator mount. And you can see right here, I just pretty much ran one side of the radiator that way for the tubing, and one side for the reservoir right on the back. And yeah, so you can see these are the adjustable. These come with them, but they don't come sleeved. I had to have these two sleeved, and this is what they normally come with. I wish I'd have got this one sleeved, but it's so expensive to get them all sleeved. And this, like I said, if I didn't buy extensions and make the case look really nice inside, you could have bought a really expensive case, but with no water cooling. I mean, with nicer parts, I probably could have got, if I thought about it, I probably could have got two 680s instead of having a case like this. Or maybe something nicer, probably, you know, 690 or something crazy. But when you start buying all these crazy custom parts to make the computer look even nicer, it really adds up quick. Yeah, I just check out frozencpu and see some of the parts if you guys want. .com. I'll put a link in the description. Yeah. Okay, hi everyone. I just wanted to show you my speed on my Intel Core i7 2600K. I'm not sure how well it's going to pick this up. You can see this is my, not that this really matters, it's my Windows 7 index score. And let's see if it's showing. I don't know if it's going to focus. It's a 7.8 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And if we click on this, you can see I'm getting 7.8 for the processor. For the memory, I'm getting 7.8. For the graphics card, which is crazy, I'm getting 7.9. Gaming graphics, 7.9, and primary hard disk, which is the SSDs and RAID 0, is 7.9. Now, if I probably had Windows 8, these scores would be higher, but yeah, 7.9 is the highest you can get in Windows 7, and the Windows index score doesn't really matter. It's just a little thing. Now, this is my GPU Z, and I apologize if this is not picking up. I'm trying my hardest. And it's just at the stock speed, the 1006 megahertz on the GPU core clock. The memory is 1552 megahertz stock, and the boost clock is 1085 megahertz. So 1085 megahertz on the boost clock, and that's the stock settings. This is CPU Z right here, and it's showing Sandy Bridge Intel Core i7 2600K. Right there in CPU Z is showing 1.392 volt on the V-core, which when it's really 1.4. That's the highest it will go that I've seen. Hyper-threading's enabled, so it's saying 4 cores and 8 threads. So it almost seems like a 8-core CPU when you're like pretty much video editing and everything. 4700 megahertz with a 47 multiplier with 100 bus speed and 100 megahertz bus speed. And I'm sorry, it's really fuzzy. I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up. Now, I got another little ITX computer that I do benchmarking on, or I mean that I seed torrents, BitTorrent, and I share files on, and I'm going to end up doing a review later, but I just want to show you how I access that computer. So pretty much, you got my remote desktop connection, which is down here. This is a feature in Windows 7 and Windows Vista, but it works a lot better in Windows 7. Pretty much you have your computer name, which is whatever you name your computer, and then you got your username and password, so you pretty much will log in and you just click connect button on remote, and you can see without a monitor I'm logged in to my AMD E350 1.6 gigahertz dual core CPU, and Windows index score on this PC is 3.8 with 8 gigabyte of RAM. That's the most you can put on this little ITX motherboard, which is a gigabyte E350. This, like I said, Windows index score really doesn't matter, but if you just want to compare something, you can do that. The processor, which is the slowest thing here, is 3.8. The memory / RAM is 5.8 because it's 1333 megahertz RAM. The graphics, because it has DirectX 11 built-in GPU, the APU, which is HD 6330, I think, and that's 6.6, and the gaming graphics is 6.6, and the primary disk is 5.9, which is a Western Digital 1 terabyte black 7200 RPM hard drive. And I don't know if you can see it. It's all stock. You can overclock this little CPU if you want, maybe like 100 megahertz or 200 megahertz. But for what I use it for, there's no point. I don't know if you can see it says AMD 350. 1600 megahertz with a multiplier, with a locked multiplier of 16 and a bus speed of 100. And when you overclock this AMD CPU, it's kind of weird. It's like Intel a little bit. You raise the bus speed and it will overclock everything, even the memory, at the same time. So you got to be careful when you're overclocking with these CPUs. It's 2 cores and 2 threads, so it's just a regular dual core. This thing pretty much beats an Intel Pentium 4, 3.0 gigahertz Pentium 4. It's right up there. It's a little dual core. These are low power. Over time, these use very, very little power. So just want to show a little remote desktop, and that's how I access this computer, because it has no monitor. Okay, now here's the major change that I've done to this. This is the, like I said, the Antec 1200 case, and I added some hard drives, but the good news, oh yeah, is I got my Corsair HX 1000 power supply back from RMA from Corsair, and it works. Brand new one. It's perfect. Works great. I did have to pay $20 shipping to ship it to Corsair. They did not send me a